Burn, ungodly filth!
What do you want? To make you ours or to make you despair?
Hey guys, Peter Franson here from christiangeekcentral.com and Spirit Blade Productions. This is the Christian Geek News Radar, where I shine a spotlight on some cool stuff that may be of particular interest to Christian geeks. Haven't done one of these in a little while. It's been just a lot of COVID this and Corona that in the news, and so I waited a little bit longer than usual to kind of let some news highlights build up a little bit. Of course, there's been news, on and off for the last, 8+ weeks, and you can track a lot more of that by following us on Twitter at Christian_geek. There's just a ton of little stories, time-sensitive stuff that wouldn't make sense to put in a monthly installment like this, that you can stay connected to and be in the know about by following us again on Twitter at Christian_geek. But let me give you some highlights from the last couple of months. First off, I just want to mention that I'm having a free download weekend for the second part of our Spirit Blade trilogy, Spirit Blade Dark Ritual. The Legacy Edition is going to be available to download for free the weekend of May 8th through the 10th. So on May 8th through the 10th, you can go to spiritblade.com, download that, and it's yours forever. And of course, the first part of that trilogy in the Legacy Edition, Spirit Blade Legacy Edition, is always free over at spiritblade.com. So great opportunity to check that out. I'm also going to be having a sale on our store in... It's somewhere, I can't remember when the date's going to be, but not too long from now. So this would be a great opportunity to get the first two parts of the trilogy for free and then be able to count on getting the third part at a discount not too long from now. So anyway, be sure you mark your calendar, May 8th through the 10th, spiritblade.com, to take advantage of that free download for Spirit Blade Dark Ritual Legacy Edition. Okay, so Cyan is a video game company that you may or may not be familiar with, but they have been busy. My gosh, these are the guys that created Myst back in the day, and although they're not creating content that's specifically aimed at Christians, they are themselves Christians, and from what I understand, some of that even leaks into the original Myst game, although I haven't played through that one myself. But Deadline.com, just for starters in the news about Cyan, has put up a story called Village Roadshow taps X-Men First Class director Ashley Edward Miller to adapt video game Myst for television. This isn't the first time that news has broken, but there's some details that have now surfaced. They write, the television adaptation of classic video game Myst has moved forward a level after X-Men First Class writer Ashley Edward Miller signed on to the Village Roadshow Entertainment Group project. Miller, who has also written and produced series including Terminator, The Sarah Connor Chronicles, Black Sails, and Lore, will write the pilot and showrun the adaptation. Myst, which was first released in 1993, is a first-person graphic adventure video game created by brothers Rand and Robin Miller and their company Cyan. Village Roadshow will develop and produce alongside the original co-creator Rand Miller and his youngest brother Ryan Miller, as well as Isaac Testerman and Yale Rice at Delve Media. So for the rest of that story, you can go to Deadline.com to read the rest of that article, but I thought that was really interesting news. Also, Cyan's game Abduction, which has been available on PC and PlayStation 4 for a little while now, has come now to Xbox. And the description for it reads, a new sci-fi adventure from Cyan, the creators of Myst. Abducted far across the universe, you find yourself on a broken alien landscape with odd pieces of Earth. Explore, uncover, solve, and find a way to make it home. So if you've not played this kind of game in a while, and you remember playing Myst or Riven, the sequel to Myst, back in the day, they've really been updating the formula with as the technology has advanced. They have been advancing their game making as well. So you can now get Abduction on Xbox One. Let's see here. Oh yeah, and finally, in news related to Cyan, who is it? Cyan.com actually posted this back in, what's the date on this post? I don't know. I think this has been a little while now, maybe like back in March that they posted this. Anyway, the article reads, Area Man Lives, a new collaboration between Numinous Games and Cyan Ventures. They wrote, we announced Cyan Ventures with the belief that now is the time to explore the possibilities in VR storytelling. Our goal is to foster visionary game narratives from independent developers. It is for this reason we are excited to announce our next venture into this space. Area Man Lives is a collaboration between Numinous Games, and if you haven't heard of them, they go on to say the award-winning studio that created That Dragon Cancer, which you can find my review on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/christiangeekcentral. Anyway, those guys, and Cyan Ventures. This is a reimagining and completion of a former title developed by Numinous Games named Untethered. For those unfamiliar with the project, they continue, Area Man Lives sets the player in the hot seat as a small-town radio show DJ. As the game begins, the on-air sign lights up, and the producer reminds the player that they have to speak out loud to begin the show. The player continues to interact with their voice, recording commercials and interviewing callers. They play records and pass the time with their odd duck producer until their shift ends. Only when local townspeople, start calling in, does the player discover just how strange their coastal community can be. When the stakes are raised, can the player do anything to prevent the death of the area man who insists on saving the day? This sounds like a really interesting game to me. I've talked about this on the Christian Geek Central podcast before when I mentioned this story, but I will definitely be keeping this on my radar, looking for updates on it, and hopefully it will find its way to PlayStation 4, which is the console I'd be most likely to play this on, and also a non-VR version would be awesome. But, if not, I can just add one more reason to eventually get around to VR someday, because this sounds like a really interesting project. And so Indesco, the video game publisher, recently tweeted, Adam's Venture Origins is making its way to Nintendo Switch. Solve intricate puzzles, discover clues, and unravel the secret of Eden. And this is a video game that is, from what I understand, not like blatantly Christian, but is certainly coming from a Christian biblical perspective. It's a series of, the Adam's Venture series is a series of adventure games, kind of with an Indiana Jones type of character, and, doing archaeological exploration and adventuring and stuff like that, but from a biblical viewpoint in its scripting and its creation. So if that interests you, Adam's Venture Origins coming to Nintendo Switch. They did not include a release date in there, and with everything going on with the with COVID-19, that would probably be in flux anyway, but just put that on your radar if that interests you. Adam's Venture Origins coming to Nintendo Switch. Finally, in some video game news, Soma Games, who on their About page, does make it clear that they are Christians and producing games from that viewpoint, recently announced that Wind Up Robots Classic is now available on iOS and Android, and I really don't know anything about this game. The description reads, choose your robots to battle an onslaught of monsters from cow-spawning alien ships to beaver-toothed T-Rexes. So there you go. If that sounds interesting or fun to you, or you want to just kind of see what's going on in the world of Christian games, then be sure to check out this one, Wind Up Robots Classic. Again, available on Apple iTunes and on Google Play. And now I'm going to turn it over to Adam David Collings to give us some news from the world of Christian geek fiction publishing.
John Delarose has released Colony Launch on the 22nd of April. This is the first in a new series set in the same universe as his space opera, The Stars Entwined. Humanity is at war. Many citizens want no part in it. In this series, a governor leaves a group of colonists to escape the war engulfing Earth and start a new life elsewhere. For fans of Babylon 5 and Robert Heinlein's classic, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. Ted Dekker and his daughter Kara have released a 4-book series for kids called The Dream Traveler's Quest. These books are designed to help kids discover a whole new way of looking at themselves. They are adventure-based Christian fiction that will expose kids to an incredible ride filled with love, joy, fear, and peace. And I believe these books are available exclusively through Ted's website. Elizabeth Klein has released Shadow Helm of Glory, Book 4 in the Bethloria series. These books follow two brothers and their elf allies. In this installment, they are hunted by a demon that replicates its last victim. The first book in this series is called Firelight of Heaven.
Thank you again, as always, Adam, for that. Guys, that was like less than half of the stories that Adam reported on this month, and that doesn't even count like what he put out last month. When I was not putting out a Christian Geek Radar segment, Adam was still faithfully putting out his Christian science fiction and fantasy bulletin back in March. And so there's just a ton more stuff. If you really want to be clued into what's going on in that world of publishing, you definitely want to check out the YouTube channel of Adam David Collings. You can get to tons more content, including his new podcast, Nerd Heaven, on his YouTube channel, and learn more about Adam at adamdavidcollings.com. If you'd like to suggest a website to be featured on the Christian Geek News Radar, you can drop a link in the comments or email me at paeter@spiritblade.com. It may not make its way into the video version that I put out once a month, but there's a pretty good chance that I'll feature it on our Twitter feed. I really use that to give a much more frequent and unfiltered spotlight to things going on in the world of Christian geekery. So if you want to stay up to date on notable news like sales that come and go really fast and or other time-sensitive type stuff, you can stay clued into all of that a whole lot better by following us on Twitter at Christian_geek. All right, that's all for now. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I wanted to invite you to join me for a live stream I'm doing Friday, May 8th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific, right here on youtube.com/christiangeekcentral, where I will be sharing my picks for favorite bang-for-your-buck games that give you a lot of playtime, a lot of fun, for a relatively small amount of money. So I hope you'll come and join me, hang out, and have some fun. Hope to see you then. Thanks. Bye-bye.